What's up, everybody? I'm Emmanuel E-Man Noisette, and today we are going to talk about Season 3, Episode 5 of From. There is so much stuff to talk about, but first, I have to give a huge thank you to all of you that just leave your theories and your reactions and your thoughts in the comments of my videos. I love reading what you all have to say after each and every episode. And I have to give an even bigger thank you for those of you that have been supporting this channel financially, whether you're leaving a Cash App or something, or hitting the thanks button, or even buying some From merchandise. All of it is greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. Quick announcement. Last week, I gave you guys a quick sneak peek at my interview with Tabitha and Henry. So I will be dropping the full interview very soon, right after this video comes out. So please make sure that you are subscribed and that you do have the bell turned on for all notifications, because I don't want you guys missing the very good stuff that they had to say. And of course, just because I like y'all so much, we family now, okay? At the end of this video, I got another little surprise for y'all. I think you guys are gonna like this surprise too. So make sure you're staying tuned all the way to the end of the video for that as well. Now, you guys already know what time it is. Previously on From. Elgin is having sleeping issues, but woke up in time to swipe right on the kimono lady. Tabitha found herself back in the town, and Boyd made a tough decision, which left Randall stranded. The lady cop shot and killed a Colony House resident who Fatima found to be delicioso. Then, all of a sudden, Randall was brought back via special delivery. Okay, enough of that. Let's jump right into the episode. Spoiler alert. The following will contain spoilers for Season 3 of From. Boyd and Ellis manage to rescue Randall and bring him into Colony House. Marielle starts to treat him as best as she can. Randall is big mad at Boyd, and he screams in front of everyone about how Boyd left him out there. Okay, so Randall is alive, and yeah, he's got some beef with Boyd. Okay, now listen, I mean, Randall has had some friction with almost everybody in town, some way, somehow, but Boyd is the one, I don't know, he's like one of the few people that have kept Randall in line or in check in some way, shape, or form. And I think what makes Randall's anger so understandable is that Randall put himself on the line here. He made himself vulnerable to a certain point. And think about it. He was this loner who, didn't always respect authority, but he put that aside, not only to help Boyd do a stakeout, for the monsters and everything while they were on the bus, but also to run back to the bus to help everyone that was in the ambulance. So, yes, Randall is a jerk, but he's not a monster, at least not that we know of yet. I don't know. But his anger here makes sense because he really does feel betrayed. And it sucks even more coming from one of the few people in the town that he actually respects, like Boyd. Jade and Kenny bring Christy back to the clinic. Boyd updates them on Tabitha returning and how she went through a faraway tree and visited the lighthouse. Jade immediately runs out to go find her. Henry is at Colony House, and Donna helps him get some clothes before he meets with Victor. Victor is on his way back to Colony House to get supplies to start his mission because he needs to go find the ventriloquist dummy Jasper. Donna informs Victor that his dad has arrived in the town, and Victor immediately storms off. Sarah runs after him, but Victor only darts off again. Tabitha reunites with her family and recounts what happened to her in the real world. Jade bursts in and says that they have to go back to the bottle tree. Jim admits that he took some of the bottles down from the tree and that it was only just a couple of numbers on the pieces of paper. Jade continues to beg Tabitha to skip the town hall meeting and to come with him to the tree. Real quick, let me just say that I wish every person in this town had the same energy that Jade just had the moment he heard Tabitha was back in town. This man went flying to go get some answers. Okay. Meanwhile, every time somebody else happens to go through something in this town, they start to talk about it, and then all of a sudden they get cut off and they leave it be. No, be more like Jade, please. And by the way, I need Jim to chill the hell out. Here he comes, starting at left guard like he plays for the NFL or something. Stop blocking stuff, okay? Where is the Jim that was writing on walls trying to figure things out? I mean, yes, things are getting weird and all that, but you got Tabitha and Jade talking. Either get some pen and paper and write some things down, or get out the way, please. Furthermore, when it comes to Jim, he said that he took down some of the bottles, right? Now, I'm starting to wonder about that. Going back to season 1, when Boyd found a bottle in the tree, remember the voices in Sarah's head were like, hey, don't touch them bottles. Stay away from them bottles. It's not a good thing. Well, these are also the same voices that also told her to go kill Ethan too. So I'm guessing that doing the opposite of whatever those voices in Sarah's head said is probably a good thing. So hopefully, whatever these numbers actually means, hopefully it ends up being a positive by the to help us figure out this mystery. Kenny acknowledges that while they were at the cabin on 2 different occasions, something was outside making noise and walking around. Kenny asked why they left Randall alive, and Boyd believes that the monsters left him there as an example for everyone in the town. Marielle tended to Christy's injury. Marielle is also stressing over not being able to save Nikki back at Colony House. She goes over to help Randall until Boyd comes in. However, Marielle tells him to stay away as Randall continues to struggle. Back at Colony House, Henry visits Victor's room. He feels sadness about not doing enough to help find his family and for having his son grow up in a place like this. Tilly comes in and lets them know that everyone's headed out for the town meeting about Tabitha. Look, first of all, let me just say, I don't really like how Boyd just casually dismissed the strange things walking outside, by the cabins or whatever. Like, bro, hold on. I'm still betting that these are giant spiders. That's my guess at this point. But I see that the show is clearly trying to build things up with whatever was outside. They're building this up every episode, giving us a little bit here and there. So I'm assuming that by the time we get to maybe the last couple episodes, maybe we'll finally figure out what the hell is outside like that. But anyway, I thought earlier that Randall could maybe be, I don't know, like a trap by the monsters of some sort. But I actually like what Boyd had to say. I think Boyd's explanation is a little bit better and lines up perfectly with the monster's current MO. We know that they want to psychologically break people first. They get a kick out of it. They like tormenting people for whatever reason. So having Randall be a walking reminder is a good way to shake people's sense of safety.
They want us to remember what's coming at night.
Now, Henry, he reminisced about this hope to see his family again. I gotta say, it was kind of messed up to hear him talk about how after all this time, he felt like it was just easier to believe that his family was just dead. But then to follow up with blaming himself for not trying hard enough to find them. Ooh, that was kind of tough. That was kind of tough. And I'll just say this also. I do wonder if one of the reasons why this place brought Henry back was because he's going to be a prime target to get more hope out of him. I mean, he lost hope when he was in the real world, but now that he's back, maybe he could get hopeful again. And I think it's safe to say this place does feed off of hope. So let's just kind of keep that in mind. By the way, the picture that was in Victor's room that Henry was holding on to, any ideas on who that figure was that was all in white, but that was surrounded, by all black? I'm just assuming that all the black probably represents darkness for Victor, you know, whenever he's drawing. So maybe this was some sort of figure that was in the dark. I'm wondering if it was one of those, you know, ashy kids, the Ankui kids, maybe.
Ankui. Ankui.
Could it have been the boy in white, maybe? Or could it just be someone completely different? I don't know. Let me know what you think about Victor's drawing in the comments. Anyway, let's hurry up because I want to talk about this town hall meeting. Everyone meets up at the diner for a town hall meeting. Boyd tries to kick off the meeting by getting everyone settled in and to have everyone calm down, but they immediately told him, "Ain't nobody coming to see you, Boyd," and they demanded to see Tabitha instead. Just then, Tabitha walks in and she tells everyone about the trees in the forest. Meanwhile, back at Colony House, Julie goes into the room to grab some of her weed. As she returns, Elgin almost hits her upside her head, but instead they agree to go hang out and smoke. Outside, Victor is sad and Sarah asks him what's wrong. He admits that he never drew pictures of what happened in his life before coming into town. He's worried about what his father will think of him after such a long period of time. Sarah tries to comfort him, but he tells her that she can stop that because she's really terrible at it. She tells him that it's possible his dad could be just as scared as he is.
Maybe he's afraid of not being the dad that little boy remembers.
A scene that bothered me, and I tell you guys this all the time, is whenever a character is about to say something important, they immediately get cut off or interrupted. Now, Bacta, she was talking to Henry and she asked him, you know, like, hey, why were you in the ambulance at that time? And Henry started to explain what they were about to do and where they were going. And then boom, in comes Tabitha. I mean, Henry was probably about to tell them about the original bottle tree and, you know, the dreams from Miranda or whatever. And this is where I was about to lose it. Who knows what would have happened had Henry finished saying what he was going to say? And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody in there would have been like, bottle tree? I had a dream about a bottle tree and some boy in white came in my dream and told me about these numbers that would help everybody come home. Like, or just something like that. Okay. I swear, if I was in these meetings, I would have been like, hey, Tabitha, sit your butt outside. Hold on. You, old man, finish what you was about to say. Whatever you was going to say, finish it. Now, as for Victor, I've been saying this since season 2, that I believe that there was something darker, something worse that was waiting for Victor at home. And that's why he didn't want to see his father. Now, remember back in season 2, when Jade asked Victor, like, hey, don't you want to go home? And Victor was like,
this is my home.
And to me, that sounded like Victor, I don't know, had some drama back in the house. You know, maybe Miranda took the kids and she was running away from Henry. And then boom, that's how they got trapped in the town. But it looks like I was wrong. You know, it seems like Victor's real fear is more so out of his concern for his dad. You know, he's worried about the fact that his dad may not fully accept him as he is. I mean, I don't know. It's like a damaged adult who is a far cry from the young boy that his father last saw. So I will say that I did not see that coming from Victor. And it's pretty interesting that that is his actual hang up in terms of meeting his father. Now, by the way, did y'all see how Sarah tried to give Victor a pep talk? And immediately this man wasted no time to tell her that she was terrible at that. She is just bad. Like, but the sneak dissing from Victor continues, and I'm here for it. Back at Colony House, Elgin and Julie smoke and talk about the kimono lady. Julie admits that the screaming she hears in her head is really bad, and the weed is the only thing that helps quiet it all down. So let's talk about Julie for a second. Now, she mentioned how this place really wants to make people suffer because that will inspire hope. Now, I thought that was kind of deep, And it was also kind of twisted at the same time. And let's just take Boyd, for example, and how this place just constantly wants to break him, right? And I'm pretty sure I've said this, but if this place really wanted to break Boyd, I mean, like completely, all they'd have to do is just kill Ellis. If they get rid of Ellis, I think that's the last straw for Boyd. But instead, this place will mess with Boyd in smaller ways and with other people. Why? Because he can get over it and hope for a better outcome next time. So notice how after, the monsters tortured and killed Mrs. Lou. Now that definitely affected Boyd, but right after that, Boyd became even more determined to trap a monster and hope to find some answers. And let's not forget, everything Julie just said sounds very similar to what the fake Abby cicada monster told Boyd about how this place does not feed on fear, but rather on hope.
It wants you to fight. It wants you to have hope that you could actually win.
Why?
Because hope is what makes you willing to suffer.
So I think Julie is actually spot on with her assessment here, especially since, she did have such a direct contact with that evil entity. By the way, do y'all think that Elgin has a thing for Julie? I mean, I know he likes a little milk in his coffee, and that's all right. That is all right to like the squirrel. It's fine. It just reminds me of that time, when Elgin tried it with Sarah in the church, and it was all good until he found out she was a whole murderer. Now, you guys let me know if you think Elgin and Julie, is this a thing? Or I don't know. Maybe it's just some good weed and they're just some good friends. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Back at the diner, Tabitha continues to recount what happened. Fatima asked if she tried to contact anyone for help, and Tabitha said that no one would have believed her. The lady cop admitted that Tabitha did sound hysterical. Others in the diner started to pile on Tabitha, including the random headscarf girl from Colony House who said that Tabitha basically blew it. Fatima goes in on Tabitha for not trying hard enough to get someone else to believe her. Tabitha apologizes to everyone for not having all the answers. Boyd reminds everyone that someone actually got out, and Dale asks, "Where is the tree?" Fatima and the others start to protest about going to find the tree, and Boyd reminded them that the last time he went through a tree, he ended up in a random chimney. Dale is tired of all that talk and storms out. Finally, oh my God, y'all, it has finally happened. You guys know I've been asking for this since season one. No, I've been begging for this, but we finally got a town meeting. Yes! But of course, in true From fashion, they giveth and taketh away, because y'all wasted this. The whole town hall meeting was a waste. Tabitha gave all the information and people just wanted to complain and attack her. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand the frustration. I'd probably be mad too. If I heard someone made it out and all she did was chase a boy in white, call her mama, talk to a priest, look at some pictures, and be on her way to the park. Now, by the way, how you gonna call your mama and not say something like, "Hey mom, we're trapped in this town, we need help, we're alive," or something? So Tabitha, you did kind of mess up a little bit there too.
How could you not take advantage of that? Yeah, they may have thought you were crazy, but what if they didn't?
Yo, Fatima is on fire right now, coming at Tabitha, and she coming straight for her neck. Okay, she is piling on this woman. And listen, ever since season 2, after the bus people came, I think that, Fatima's just been falling apart. She is not herself anymore. I remember when she was like really breaking when she was dealing with the cowboy, monster outside the window and all that. But just remember, think back to when she was like that uplifting proxy for Julie. And it seemed like, Fatima was always finding the positive, even in this hellish place. So, that was cool and all, but now she's got a whole demon baby. She's eating expired food and she might be turning into a vampire. I mean, so I get it. I do. A lot of stuff is going on with her personally, but hold on one second. She ain't gonna tell nobody about none of this at all. I'm just saying, look, never mind Tilly. Okay, I'm just saying we got a whole town meeting going on right now, right here. This might be a good time and place to just mention all the crazy stuff that you've been going through. Okay, maybe not the blood, because that's nasty and they might throw you in the box. But everything else would be nice to mention, I think. Listen, maybe somebody else is going through it. You never know. But I loved that exchange between Fatima and Tabitha. Fatima brought up a very good point about, what if somebody would have believed you? And Tabitha shut that down immediately and was like, ma'am, I did tell somebody, he did believe me, and look where he's at. Henry is right there. Fatima was like, Tabitha. That's all she could say. and hold on, can we time out for a second here? Can y'all look at Ellis's face? Okay, I'm not letting this man slide right now. Bro, don't be sitting here giving Tabitha that long face, that, oh, come on face, because she didn't do enough. Ellis, what exactly have you been doing? Ellis gotta be one of the most useless characters in this entire show. This man has done nothing for 3 seasons. All that he's done is yell at his daddy for answers, get injured, stabbed, and knocked up his baby mama with a demon baby. And you gonna have the nerve to look at Tabitha with that kind of look on your face? Bruh, fix your face. Okay, you have not earned the right. Stop it. Now listen, I know this is not supposed to be funny, but when the lady cop started talking and backing up Tabitha, I started cracking up laughing because she hit her with that Mean Girls line and she was like, what is she even doing here? She killed somebody. She doesn't even go here. I thought that was funny to me.
We thought she was hysterical.
She doesn't even go here.
Now, here's the thing. We got to talk about Dale. Now Dale, my man been real slick with his mouth lately. I don't know if you noticed, but in this little scene here, he been saying a lot of slick stuff. I could not live in this town with Dale. I definitely couldn't live in Colony House. This man would have been getting smacked by me a couple of times just by talking out of line and out the side of his neck. I'm just saying. And by the way, I see why Donna stays punching him every other time. Cause he be saying some things, but you know what? He's probably one of the realest people here. And all he heard was lighthouse, trees, go home. And he was like, you know what? Let's go, right? Even though he just got done hearing Boyd say that these trees will take you anywhere. Dale just said, whatever. And look at this, by the way, Jim. Look at Jim sitting right there. You think this man would speak up and be like, oh, hey, yeah, by the way, my daughter went through a tree and she ended up in some random cellar outside of town. Those trees are not reliable. But no, God forbid these folks share any type of real information at this town hall meeting. Anyway, what did you all think about this town meeting? And more importantly, what would you have done any differently than Tabitha if you had made it out? Tabitha comes back home and tells Jade that they're going back to the tree. Ethan wants to go too, but Jim transformed into Captain America and blocked that from happening. They have a side conversation and Jim ends up telling her that Ethan has to stay with him. Boyd and Ellis get into an argument. Boyd wants everyone to just really calm down, and Ellis wants someone to do something while he continues to do absolutely negative nothing. Ellis wants to take chances, and Boyd asks him to pick the next person whose life he's willing to gamble with.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
Damn it, Jim! You starting to get on my nerves. First of all, I love this energy from Tabitha and Jade. Remember, Jade came in, was like, yo, where's Tabitha? We gotta go solve some stuff. And then now Tabitha's like, yo, where's Jade? We gotta go to the bottle tree. I love this. I love it. They are in the business of trying to solve things. But here goes Jim being a whole nuisance. Now look, even though at the last town hall meeting, this meeting was pointless, okay? The one other thing these characters in this show need to do is take all the weird people, gather them up, put them in a room, and let them just talk, okay? Tabitha, Jade, Ethan, Victor, Sarah, Fatima, not you, Ellis, Boyd, Elgin, bring all of them together and let them cook, okay? We don't know what they could come up with. Okay, now I understand Jim just wants to protect his family, but I would just be like, listen, Ethan, he wants to go anywhere, cool. You're not going without supervision. As your parent, I would go with you because guess what? We can do both. You can protect Ethan and go solve this stuff at the same time.
You want to do something, Mike? So tell me, who's next? Who's your pick? Who's your pick? Exactly.
Ooh, man, oh man, that scene with Boyd and Ellis, ooh, I loved it. Boyd was straight cooking. Now listen, I know that we do this often, but I think it needs to just keep happening. Can we please just give my man Harold Perrineau some props here? This man is working. He is working these scenes right now. Like I can feel it every single time. Can't you? Ooh, Ellis continues to prove that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And Boyd even having to mention the fact that people's lives are at stake whenever they have to take these risks and stuff. That all just shows that how, naive Ellis really is. And it's sad because he's too grown and he's too experienced in this place to be this dang on dumb. Now, I'm glad that Boyd gave him that talking to like a real parent. I also laughed because when he walked away from him, he was like, why am I even talking to your dumb self about this? That was too funny to me. Elgin and Julie go downstairs in the basement. He opened up an old trunk full of clothes. Julie ends up finding a Polaroid camera and they both start taking pictures. Back at the sheriff's station, Officer Acosta offered Boyd her help and advice. She recommended to give people something else to focus on. Boyd said, little girl, I'm not your friend. I do not have your back either. He reminded her how she killed someone and handcuffed Tabitha in the ambulance. Acosta tried to apologize, but Boyd wasn't trying to hear none of that and said she was dismissed. So real quick, I do think that this whole the Elgin, Julie trunk scene or whatever, I think this just is further evidence that we are indeed in some sort of cycle with this town. A lot of the things that they found in there were very dated items of clothing. That jacket, ooh, that is classic 80s, even with the hair scrunchie and all that. So clearly this town has been operating for some time, right? In terms of grabbing people and all that. But man, this tension between Boyd and Acosta, ooh, it's hot. It is hot, And listen, I understand Boyd's frustration. I really do. We talked about this last week about Boyd projecting his own sense of failures on other people. And in this case, I think every time he sees Acosta, he just gets pissed off, and on the other hand, I don't think she was actually wrong here either. I mean, she made a really good point about how the residents, they do need something else to focus on because, let's just be honest, somebody might go off and do something very stupid, trying to make their way home. So, here's the question for you all. The town does have a rule. We know the rule that if someone causes the death of someone else or something like that, you got to go in the box. Now, Acosta, she did cause Nikki to die. Granted, she hasn't been fully initiated into the town. She doesn't know all their rules or anything, but you guys let me know. Do you think Officer Acosta, do you think she deserves to go in the box? Back at Colony House, Fatima decided to make a quick pit stop for some rotten food, but Ellis came in right behind her trying to help. She breaks down and admits that she's got a pretty screwed up diet plan and there may be something wrong with the baby.
It's all I can keep down. I think there's something wrong with the baby. I think there's something wrong with the baby.
Oh my God. Finally. Thank you. I'm just happy that Fatima finally is telling somebody else about her terrible dietary choices. I mean, listen, at least Ellis is supportive. I mean, he wants everyone else to do something and take risks while he sits around and does nothing. But hey, at least he's doing the good husbandly thing and he's got her back. In the town, Henry is wondering why there's a motel sign and a pool, but no motel. He goes off with Ethan and they start talking about Victor. Ethan tells him how him and Victor are best friends and that sometimes Victor will call off their friendship. Meanwhile, Victor and Sarah are walking around until Victor sees Henry. And then Henry sees Victor. The two slowly approach each other and they embrace. Okay, look, I'd be lying to y'all if I told y'all that at this moment when Henry and Victor met up and stuff, that there weren't some waterworks going off for me. Just thinking about it. When Victor said, I didn't know how to come back home. Oh, that broke me. Like that put water in my eyes. Like for real. And can we give it up for my man, Scott McCord? I know we talk about Harold doing his thing as Boyd, and he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want to dismiss the fact that Scott is right there with him, putting in that work. My man is doing a phenomenal job, and his performance, along with others, but specifically his performance as Victor, is just one of the other elements that makes me enjoy From so much. So kudos to him. He is doing a stand-up job. But I'm so happy that both Victor and Henry could have this moment. You know, I'm glad that I was wrong, you know, that there was any added trauma, because who needs more negativity in a place like this anyway? You know, the last time we had a happy reunion was really probably Marielle and Christy, you know. So in the midst of all this nonsense, it was good to kind of see something positive and to see these two come together. Now, if we could back this up a little bit, Henry asked some very good questions here. You know, so this is something that I really want everyone to pay attention to. I know we all love coming up with theories and we're all trying to catch certain clues and stuff. I'm right there with you. But this moment right here, it's a perfect example of the show telling you loud and clear that this is a clue about the whole motel. Notice that not only did the camera go from Henry to the motel sign, but even after he left with Ethan, the camera went right back to focus on the sign. This means that this question is something important in some way. Now compare this to the fraction of a second of Fatima opening the door and people assuming that she couldn't open the door. And by the way, she did open the door, and run with the theory that, you know, she can't open doors and, you know, without some super secret invitation, or I don't know, whatever the theory is. Now, I'm not trying to trash anyone's theories, but I do think we should try to avoid going on wild goose chases that could possibly lead us into a state of disappointment. If you keep building something up that the show is really not trying to focus on, the only person that's going to be let down is you. So all I'm saying here is that there are definitely clues in this show. But when it comes to something meaningful, I think it would be great if we put more of our time and energy into these type of clues that the show is very deliberate about telling us. Speaking of which, Why do you think that there's a motel sign and a pool, but no motel actually there? Now, I think it makes sense that all of this could be some sort of pocket dimension that has some sort of barrier around it, maybe. So the town with all the houses and stuff like that, that makes sense. You know, like maybe the houses and stuff were already there, whatever. But the motel and the pool, this to me feels like a piece of the motel was shoved through the faraway tree and the rest just didn't make it through or something. I don't know. You know, and the only, I guess the best way that I can kind of make sense of what's going on is I got to go back to that Marvel show, Loki. You know, this town feels like the void in Loki. So if you've seen Loki, you know what I'm talking about. It's just another dimension where random things just end up. Now, I don't have a good explanation as to how these things ended up here, but this is going to be something I believe we need to pay attention to in the coming episodes. Bacta is at the diner and joins Boyd on the bus. She tells Boyd that she's sorry for not having his back during the town meeting. She admits that Boyd was just trying to help people and next time she's going to have his back. Jade and Tabitha are back at the bottle tree. Jade believes that the numbers could be dates, but Tabitha really doubts that. He told her that he also saw the crusty kids in the tunnels laid out on some stones and the symbol being created from the roots above. He expressed his frustration, how he felt like there was a moment of clarity that quickly escaped him. He said that there must be a pattern of some kind given the bottle tree and the numbers. Just then, Dale walks up and examines the tree. Tabitha and Jade warn him not to go into the tree, but he decides to go in there anyway. He suddenly disappears. Back in town, Boyd can hear screaming by the pool until he sees the terrible sight. Dale's body has been fused into the wall of the pool. Boyd tries to assess the situation and he ends up pulling out his gun to put Dale out of his misery, but it's too late. He dead. Boyd lashes out at everyone watching and asks who wants to be next. Suddenly, Donna walks up to see her friend Dale's body and everyone goes quiet. Well, R.I.P. Dale. You know, he is the epitome of F around and find out. You know, I mean, I guess I can't totally blame him for trying, though. I mean, listen, being stuck in a place like this for so long and then to finally hear an ounce of hope to escape. I mean, I get it. And he was right. Somebody had to try. And well, now I bet you now, everybody in town's probably going to be thinking they're going to think twice about jumping through them trees. You know, I know if I was in that town, I wouldn't have been that somebody. That's just not me. But I think this proves another point. And for people that are looking for answers, this could be an interesting answer for this show. Think about this. Who or whatever the boy in white is, remember that he's got some sort of connection and understanding of this place. He seems to maybe even be a part of it, right? Remember at the end of season 1 when he told Sarah that this place was angry?
Nathan was right about this place. It's angry now. You have to get inside.
So he knows the feelings of this place. Plus, it was by his direction that Julie and Victor, Sarah and Boyd could go through the faraway trees and make it out alive. I mean, yeah, Boyd did still get caught up in a chimney, caught some worms, brought a cicada monster into town that killed people. But hey, did he die? No. So what have we learned here? Don't go through the faraway trees unless the boy in white tells you to do so. Oh, and when Boyd was snapping on everyone, you know what? I was cool with that. I was very okay with that because he told all of y'all. He told every single one of them to chill out at the diner. But no, everybody wanted answers. Everybody wanted him to do something. As if he hasn't been putting his life on the line since the day he got there. Even his own son Ellis had the nerve to try. Ooh, you know what? Sometimes it be your own people. It be your own people. I wish Ellis and Fatima were here to see this. I wish they would see what happened to Dale in the pool. I bet you he won't be talking about taking risks no more after that. But Donna, when she saw Dale, keep in mind, by the way, in case some of you didn't know, Liz Saunders, the actress that plays Donna, she is married to the actor, who plays Dale. So there is that level of realism going on here. And I'm sure this was probably feeding into Liz's performance, in her acting. But I mean, Donna and Dale, they're friends and all, but to see your real life husband stuck in a wall like that, yikes. Anyway, that's it for this episode. But this is the point where I'll give you all my quick take and review on it. So I thought that there were some really good emotional beats in this episode. I love the Victor Henry reunion, and I'm happy we finally got a town meeting, even though it really went nowhere. I know we didn't get any major answers, except don't go through the tree because it's not for everybody. While this was a bit of a slower episode, I'm still okay with it, given that the first 4 episodes were really intense and they did get a lot of stuff happening. While this was a bit of a slower episode, I'm okay with it, given the fact that the first 4 episodes were a lot more intense and they set up a lot of stuff. I think this episode did have some really, really good acting to kind of get us through. So when it comes to the rating, I'm going to give this episode a 7.5 out of 10. It was cool, right? So you all let me know, what did you think about episode 5 on a scale from 0 to 10? Let me know your rating in the comments down below. All right, so I've got a little something for you all. Thank you so much for making it here to the end. We saw that big emotional moment with Victor and his dad, and while it got me emotional, I thought that I would ask the man himself what he thought about it. So check out this sneak peek of my interview with Scott McCord, aka Victor. Thank you all so much for watching, and listen, I'll see you all later. Another highly anticipated, I guess, reunion is Victor and his dad.
Yeah.
You broke my heart when you said I didn't know how to get home.
Yeah.
Again, I don't even know how you get to that headspace. But what I found interesting was Victor's fear about meeting his dad. Can you provide just a little bit of insight on his concern before meeting his dad?
Of course. Yeah. It was he's terrified. I think I was just as terrified as an actor to approach that scene. I mean, to see that on the page was so beautiful that, I wept when I read it, but at the same time I was like, we got to do that scene. I have to meet, there's a lifetime lost between me and this individual. And how does it, and I think so much of it, and I think the line that you're in reference to is so tied up with what I think is just there in John's beautiful writing, which is in that lifetime lost. I think with Victor, it's like the realization of, did I fail him? I have to see this person after all this time, right? Mom is gone. Eloise is gone. There's been a lifetime lost. Did I do all this? Did I do this? When did I first fail him? These were the things that were going through my mind, sort of approaching those scenes anyways, leading up to that moment. And then I think, I didn't really realize it at the time when that line came out the way that it did, but now, like, we've been talking about that moment today a little bit, and you're right, so loaded with that guilt, I think.
If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.